not. He doesn't have the power, and he must admit that he's powerless to overcome himself, his own sin nature, which, by the way, all of us have. You weren't born without one, and it's still with you. I wish that when I became a Christian, boom, poof, it's gone, but it's still there. Otherwise, we wouldn't be tempted when we're tempted. This is a condition I would suggest to you that all of us have. Now, who was this? This was the Apostle Paul. This wasn't someone that just released out of prison. Well, yes, it was. This wasn't someone who was addicted to alcohol and drugs, most likely. You see, we put those people in a particular category in our mind. I'm not one of those. I'm not Brad Miller that messed my life up for 10 years. No. I'm a Christian, and I haven't gone there. I haven't done that. You know, the churches that I've studied who have Celebrate Recovery in them, almost all of them that have a successful Celebrate Recovery ministry are about half and half. Half drug and alcohol addictions, and half others under the other category. Because these are folks who recognize, like the Apostle Paul, who wrote nearly half of the New Testament, and who was a missionary, and who loved God and was a model for us in so many ways, and including this, recognizing that he was powerless in his own strength to win the victory for God by himself and under his own power. You see, that's the lesson most of us in this room, and including me, struggle with. I can do this. If I go to church enough, if I do these things, hey, I'm pretty good. I'm above the watermark here. Look at everybody else. Those people really need it. Not me. I can manage this thing on my own. Now, let me ask you this. Go through a little checklist here, whether or not this applies to you. Evaluating your hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Do you ever eat too much when you know you shouldn't, yet you do? Now, I'm sure none of you do this, but you spend too much, more than you actually know you're making, because you got to have this thing. It's called greed, right? I mean, the Bible has a word for it. We never talk about it. It's not on the advertisements, but it's, you have to have this thing, even though you know you're right on the edge, or maybe over the edge. It's sin. What about speaking? You know, every now and then I will time my lunch wrong, and I will go to a fast food restaurant here in the immediate area at the same time Boise High has let out for lunch. I did this the other day, and McDonald's, every table was filled with Boise High students practically. And not only was everybody talking about BSU this week, but before the BSU game, everybody was talking about somebody's girlfriend or somebody's boyfriend. And I'm thinking, I'm listening over here, 100% gossip. And I'm listening over here, 100% gossip. And a thought occurred to me, does this just happen with high schoolers? Or is this like what you have in your office? I don't know. Because in my office, we as the staff, we never, ever gossip. No, we all struggle with this. Does anybody struggle with their tongue? Saying things they shouldn't say, exaggerating the truth when you know it's an exaggeration? I mean, we don't have to go very far on this list before we hit everybody in this room. Who needs recovery? Who needs victory? Who needs to win some battles? Anger, sex, controlling things. I got to be in control. And I get all anxious, even sinful when I'm not. Forgiveness. Can you forgive everybody in your life? Or are you still in a battle with that? Laziness on the one hand for some people, and overworking on the other hand for others. Sleep, exercise, impulsiveness, selfishness, responsibility, and this is a partial list. All of us are like the Apostle Paul, and I would suggest to you, powerless to change. Step one is I admit I am powerless to control my tendency to do the wrong things in my life. Well, is it hopeless? No. Christ came to defeat the power of sin. He saved us from the penalty of sin, and He is saving us from the power of sin. Now, what happens when I'm honest? What is the result? What is the benefit? Well, let me give you 4. 1, you'll be blessed by God. Remember the first of the blessings, the first of the Beatitudes, what is it? Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those whose heart is broken by life or by sin or by their own inability, as opposed to the opposite, being proud, self-reliant. I can do this. Blessed are those who come to the place in their life where they have accomplished step 1. I am powerless here in my situation. God, I need your help. And God says, I will bless you. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Letter B, freedom from guilt. David writes, when I kept silent about my sin, my bones wasted away, my strength evaporated. He says, then I acknowledged my sin to you, and it was like the Lord just opened a gate, and praise and forgiveness, and it says He forgave the guilt of my sin. The burden was lifted. It's gone. Freedom happens when we confess our sin to the Lord. And letter C, I'm released from image management. Something all of us do, something probably you did this morning. In your head, you know you're going to church. You're standing in front of the mirror. What am I going to wear? What am I going to do? Now, I'm glad for most of us that we do these thoughts, all right? I shaved today, okay, for your sake, all right? Not for mine, but I do that every day mostly, unless it's my day off. In fact, my day off is defined by a day I don't have to shave. And some of you with beards, I envy you, but, you know, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be thinking about what other people think, but when we think about what other people think of us too much and it controls our behavior, we become people pleasers, and God says that's not sin. That's just wrong. And we live our lives thinking about who we are and how we project ourselves and what people think of us way, way too much. And we shrink what God thinks of us and how important that should be. Letter D, what happens when I'm honest? I gain support from others. The exact opposite of what you think. When you confess something, when you're honest with others, the exact thing opposite, because we fear rejection, we fear what they might think of us, and instead, at least for the most part, and in my experience, that people embrace me. People are drawn to people who are real, to people that are honest, and there's support there. Listen to this verse, 1 John 1:7. If we walk in the light as He is in the light, we have fellowship with, what's it say? God. No. Doesn't say that. What does it say? If we walk in the light as He is in the light, we have fellowship with one another. God says honesty, openness, above the table living draws us together. True fellowship begins to happen. Why is the church so impotent? Because it starts with we're not very honest with each other, making this impossible. I close with this passage of Scripture. I love this. Isaiah 57, verse 18. God says this. Take a look at it. I have seen His ways, but I will heal him. I will guide him and restore comfort to him, creating praise on the lips of the mourners in Israel. Peace, peace to those far and near, says the Lord. I will heal them. Notice at the beginning, verse 18, God sees. God sees you. He sees your past. He sees your sin. He sees your battle. God sees everything, right? We know this. God sees everything, every detail, every thought, every intention, every motive. God sees it. But then what does He say? I see you, but I will heal you. I'll give you victory. I'll move in your heart. And He says, I'll bring you peace, those far and those who are near. I'll restore you. I'll comfort you. I mean, the list goes on that God is going to do for those who yet He sees their life and He sees everything about me. He saw Paul and his problems. And yet He's ready to embrace us.